How do you do? This is Trixie the Golden Witch, ranting, raving Ota Queen and mother of AniTube, and you've made it to another episode of Vlogust, the show where I am vlogging every single month in August because I turned 31 this month. There's 31 days this month. Wow, isn't that a concept? Also, I'm making a crazy announcement at the end of the month. Shocking. Beyond bewilderment. You're not going to survive, sorry. Nobody will. It's going to be like the end of the world times 10,000. And like your brain's gonna rot out of your skull and fall through your nose and spill all over the ground. Anyway, this is...
I'm in salad and I saw Keroro Gunsou.
Keroro Gunsou?
Keroro Gunsou.
Isn't that like Sergeant Frog?
Yes. I call it Keroro Gunsou because that is a cooler name. Even though a lot of people are like, hey, Sergeant Frog, I saw that on Netflix a long time ago, back in 2013, but now it's off Netflix. And I don't know if anyone else has seen Keroro Gunsou. Have you seen Keroro Gunsou?
I've seen a couple episodes because I think it's on the Funimation streaming site or something. I accessed it through VRV, but there's like 370 episodes and they're all up there, so...
They're all on there?
They're all up there.
Okay. I've only seen like 150 something episodes.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of Keroro Gunsou.
Are you interested in seeing the rest of it now?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, past a certain point, I feel like Keroro Gunsou is just like, it's like a day in the life kind of anime.
Yeah.
The first few seasons is like where like all the story is, and then it's like perpetual like, frogs trying to invade Earth, frogs failing, frogs realizing that and just being content to living on Earth. Okay, to put a backstory, if you've never seen Keroro Gunsou, here's the gist. You get a platoon of frog-like aliens. They're from Keroro, I believe is the planet name. And they got this Keroro ball. It's basically like an invasion tool. They're here to invade Earth, and you got Keroro as the leader. And basically, he gets to Earth in like 2004, and he sneaks into this teenage boy's room for like the pilot, and he's like got this like invisibility kind of thing going on, but the invisibility sticker, it's kind of like a sticker, peels off and he gets caught. So now he lives in this boy's basement, and alongside that there's this really super hot like teacher, and then who's also like an anime publicist, like a manga publicist, and also this teenage girl who keeps being like, hey, you gotta do the chores around here if you're gonna live in this basement, which is by the way haunted by a ghost. It's really fun. So basically he goes from this like this very big leader, which you can see like later episodes. There's a couple like episode 0 episodes where it's showing him like before he went to Earth, he was just like super capable leader, but now all he does is he like look at manga, plays with Gundam. I believe Gundam themselves made this anime, which is why
the Studio Sunrise, Gundam made this show. Yeah,
so that's why it's not like a whole copyright issue. And then we see like more and more frogs appear. The first one after that is Tamama. He lives with Fuyuki's friend. I forget her name, but she has a huge crush on Fuyuki. And she's like, oh, I love Fuyuki so much. But also, what's fun about Tamama is he is in love with Keroro, or at least that's like a fan theory. It's a whole thing trying to be like, oh, he just like wants the attention of Keroro. And Tamama is the youngest one. He's still a tadpole. He's still got like the white all over his face and got a tadpole tail, which is how you can tell they're still young. And he's living with the person who has a crush on Fuyuki is also super rich. She gives him all the sweets that he wants. Basically, he's a spoiled brat, and it's pretty great. Then we get to introduce the next character, I believe, is Engelmoa. She was supposed to destroy Earth like 15 years ago, but she overslept and now has appeared to destroy Earth. But because she has like a weird relationship with Keroro, where Keroro is like an uncle figure to her. I don't know where the lineage is on that, but what's fun about it is Moi is also trying to get the attention to Keroro, but Keroro is giving Moi that attention, and Tamama is very jealous of Moi. And Tamama has this like jealousy ball rage where he can just like, when he's super jealous, he can do basically like the shoop da whoop meme.
Yeah, like
fucking,
a Kamehameha blast.
Yeah, it's that, but like
Hadouken.
It's a Hadouken. It's that coming from his mouth, pure ball of rage. It's like purple and black, and it's got like some Japanese characters in it, and you can shoot it at anyone. Then after Tamama is introduced, then we get Keroro. He's white, not white. He's completely red. His chest has like no emblem on it whatsoever, compared to the other ones do have emblems. But he's I like his character design. He's got like a scar, and then like his eyes are like very semicircle instead of full circle.
He's like the tough looking one.
Yeah, he's pretty great. And then what's fun about him is the dynamic is he was friends with Keroro when he was a lot younger, like childhood age. So basically they've been like lifelong friends, and he's just trying to get Keroro to invade Earth like he's supposed to. And pretty much the only reason why he's not successful is because Natsume. He has a big crush on Natsume, and he lives outside in a tent, and he's eating yams all the time. A few episodes in, he meets a cat. He befriends that cat. It's a really cute cat. I love that cat. I wanted that pet cat. I wanted to pet that cat. And then, Keroro is like a really big, just like a hater on Keroro. But it's like, because Keroro's just like trying to get him to invade Earth, and he's like, no, I want to play with Gundam all day. It's like, no. But anyway. Next person to be introduced is Keroro, which is my favorite out of the Keroro platoon. I love him so much. He's got spiral eyes. He's yellow. He's got like headphones that can pop out and that like use like as like a weapon. You got like little antennas that can like shoot out like sound-based like rays that like make people go in pain, which is pretty cool. He's quite insane. He's like the mad scientist type, because he can pretty quickly like hack into any mainframe and just makes like crazy wacky inventions, but the thing is, he's a sexual pervert. He's basically spying on the super hot mom while like she's in the shower. And there's this one episode, which is 158, which is a very heavy ship episode, the second part anyway, where they have to go into Keroro's memories because Keroro is having like these nightmares or whatever. And basically towards the end of that episode, Keroro is just inserting his face onto images of Natsume in Keroro's fantasies. So in Keroro's fantasies, it's Keroro and Keroro. And it's like, when he gets confronted, it's like, do you have a crush on Keroro? And he just like kind of blushes, and then like Keroro freaks out, and that's like the end of the episode. But because that episode exists, there's a lot of fan art of Keroro and Keroro. So, also another fun mention, Keroro has the curry that he bathes in.
He bathes in curry.
He bathes in curry, and I just want to eat that curry all day, every day. Like, why can't you get me that curry? Why doesn't that curry exist in America? Like, I've tried to make that curry with that in mind, and I can never find any curry. It's like a Japanese curry.
Okay. We'll figure it out.
We will figure it out. I've had a lot of Indian curry, and it's not the same. It's definitely not the same. There's like rice in it. There's like meat. There's curry juice. Yum. I want that. And then the last member. He used to be called Zeroro before he moved to Earth, but he is now Dororo. He's a ninja. He's blue. He befriends this this ninja chick. I forget her name, but she's friends with Natsume. And I'm eating frogs like I'm eating flies like a frog. Nom. But yeah, he befriends a ninja, and they're kind of like out in the wilderness about it, and they become big pacifists.
Mm-hmm.
And Dororo's kind of a wimp when it comes to standing up to himself for in front of Keroro, because Keroro is very mean to him. It's like, who's Dororo? Is he here? And then like Dororo is like clearly next to him, and he's like all sad about it. And then it's basically a meme. Like, you just gotta... He sits in the corner and cries about it. And that's the entire Keroro platoon right there. There's more platoons.
You said there's more platoons. Yes. I need to know about all of them.
Alright, the other one that I know in depth, for sure, is the Garu platoon. There's a couple other ones, like the Battery platoon. And, like, these OC characters that are in a platoon of themselves, but I forgot the name of them. There's a lot of platoons, but like the other main one is the Garuru platoon, which is Giroro's older brother. He's like a pink. He's got like this like eye on his like hat thing. It's kind of cool, and he's definitely older than Garuru. He's been in the military longer. He's just more experienced. He's higher up rank. And so Keroro is constantly, growing up, was compared to his brother. And now he's trying to like outfight his brother, trying to like show him up. It's pretty cool, but we don't really get to hear of that dynamic until Garuru shows up in like episode 100.
Damn.
And then their other one, you got Taruru, which is Tamama's nemesis. Earlier in the show, he was introduced as a tadpole. He was like a little obnoxious. He was kind of like being a little bit of baby. But then like episode 100, then we see Tadaru. He's grown up as like an adult. And the fun thing about this is that when he shows up, he's a higher rank than Tamama, and he's like more experienced and skilled. And it's honestly pretty great. The episode 100, they pretty much outmatched the Keroro platoon. And then another character, we get Pururu, which is a childhood friend of Keroro, Giroro, and not so much Dororo, just because Dororo, when he was younger, he was kind of like a shut-in, and he was just basically staying with his rich parents the entire time. But yeah, they would go on fun, wacky adventures. She's a medic now. Keroro has a really big crush on her, and it's quite adorable just to see the extent of which Keroro is simping for her, basically. Mm-hmm. And then we get to Tororo, which is Kururu's equivalent. Basically, he was in the military school with him and was constantly trying to outsmart him, and just because Kururu is just like a better programmer, just outright, and Tororo is like, yo, I really just gotta like show off what's going on. So he's the type of person to initially get into somebody's mainframe, but like not keep that. Like basically Kururu's like, yo, I'm gonna shove you out of the mainframe. You're not allowed to be in here. You thought you fatty because he eats a lot of junk food and like soda and stuff. You fatty, he even says that. You cannot stay here. Get out of here. And so there's a couple more episodes where the Garu platoon is the main focus, but not nearly enough. All right, next member. So we got Zeroro. I might have gotten the names confused, but you got... He shows up the least, which is why I know like the least about him. He's like the ninja. He's like half cyborg, half ninja. and he is Dororo's equivalent. He's like, basically, he kind of was friends with Dororo at some point, and then their rivalry kind of was too much, and they started hating each other. Yeah, that's all of those frogs from that platoon.
So you mentioned who your favorite was from that platoon. Who is your favorite from the original?
Keroro.
Why?
He's very maniacal. He's scheming about a lot of things. He's really hard to read, like, especially when he's interacting with the rest of the group. He's like, you guys want to be my guinea pigs for a mad scientist scheme? And then he, like, kind of is taking the entire platoon along like a journey because they don't know what he's going to do to them. But he's very not cynical. Like, what's the opposite of sinister? He's very sinister. He's honestly, I just love him, and the curry too.
Do you have a favorite scene with that character that you can think of?
It honestly has to be the scene where he's hacked, like during the episode 100 when he's hacked by the Gaoru platoon. I keep bringing it up because I love this episode so much. It's like a 2-parter like episode, and basically the scene that I love the most is when he gets hacked and he's like trying to stumble and figure out why he's getting hacked, and then you see like Tororo like tormenting him like, ha ha ha, I want it hacked into your mainframe, and he's just like France, like it's the first time we ever see him stressed, which is why I love it so much.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Is that your favorite episode overall of the show, or is there any other highlights?
Pretty much. That has to be my favorite.
What do you think in general makes this show so special to you?
The character designs, the whole character naming scheme. It's basically like a syllable and then the 2 syllables repeated.
Yeah.
And it's
just fun to say.
It is fun to say. There's a lot of possibility you can to create new characters, which they did.
Right.
There's a lot of
OC friendly because they're all like template design.
Yeah, it's also super easy to draw. It was probably one of the first things that I like autistically just focused on drawing like heavily, because I actually started watching this when I was like around 9 because a friend introduced it to me, and I was like, oh my goodness, these are so great. I love these characters. They look so cute, and they're frogs. The cat's cute, but the frogs are adorable, and their personalities are like so much different from each other, and they also coincide well with each other too.
Yeah.
And it's great.
I'm glad you mentioned autistically drawing the frogs, because I do think there's a tendency, like shows that get popular with autistic people do tend to have like template character designs that you can easily replicate because people want to draw themselves into the show.
Oh yeah.
Watching the first few episodes of this show, I did think it was like one of the most autistic shows I've ever seen, and that's because a lot of the humor. It's very like genre based. It's a lot of it's parody, and it's usually just setting you up for one expectation and then just doing something else. And so it'll be like a scene where a character is romantically pining after another one, and the whole thing is a build up of romance, and it just feels like you're watching an incredibly generic romance thing until something really wacky and silly happens. And sometimes it's more of like a punchline, but oftentimes it really is just like something different. And I get why that's appealing both for children and for autistic people, especially because like subversion of expectation is more, I guess, pronounced for you. Like you really have like very set expectations of how things are going to happen. And so it's like, oh, for me, I always kind of feel like every scene I'm kind of like, all right, well, where is this going? And then the thing happens and I go, oh, okay, like I rarely am like bursting out laughing so much as like, but then I also understand this show because there's the same studio ended up making Gintama, which is like my favorite ridiculously long subversive comedy anime, and the joke structure is pretty similar in that show. It's just a little bit more like punchline driven, and Keroro Gunsou is more like cute and it feels to me like they created like the most deliberately generic main characters. Like all the human characters are like totally nondescript. You could not pick them out in a lineup.
The only difference is like hair color, and that's really about it.
Like, you went on a lot about the frogs. Do you have any opinions on the human characters in particular?
Natsume, I don't really like how she forces Keroro to do all of her house chores for her. But she's kind of mean.
Yeah.
But she also very girly, too.
Yeah.
I don't particularly enjoy her as, like, a person. I wouldn't want to be friends with her, but she's enjoyable as a character.
Okay, what about the guy? The boy?
Fuyuki, he's kind of he's cool. He has some interests that are like...
What are his interests?
Reading. He reads a lot. He's a big reader. He's kind of like a nerd type. He's kind of I'd say he's nervous. He's very nervous.
Yeah, I got that off the first couple episodes.
Yeah. Then...
The teacher is there too, right?
Yes, the mom. She's... I believe at one point it was mentioned she was also like either a journalist at a manga company or like running it. She's part of like a manga company. But she's hot, honestly.
I think a big part of the appeal of this is also like a lot of the scenarios are sexually comedic, but in like a very subtle way. Like, well, okay, subtle's not the right word for it, because like the first episode, like Keroro's like vacuum's going out of control and like sucking at the main girl's skirt, and so it's like her trying to hold her skirt down, and like you don't have a panty shot, you don't have like a sexy looking image of her, but conceptually what's happening is sexual.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that going on in the show. And it's like, it's a little bit raunchy and a little bit adult, a little bit political. Like, there's a lot of stuff that, like, the reason I can't just call it like a kid's show, and I think of it more like as like specifically autistic, is that like it makes a lot of references that kids wouldn't get, but older viewers who think this sense of humor is funny will get those extra jokes that are baked into it. Even just the model kid stuff, really. Like, you know, I assume they were doing all that because they want more kids to buy model kits, and they're like, we'll put it in the kids show. But like, I'm sure that also like helped to draw older viewers into it, because they're like, oh, Gundam, I love Gundam.
Yeah, I definitely didn't get any of the references that were being made. I was just more in it for the character interactions with each other. That was fun. That was very fun.
What's your favorite character dynamic in the whole show?
Man, it has to be there's a weird dynamic between Keroro and Tamama. It's the jealousy one, where Tamama is super jealous, and I like that dynamic. Just Keroro is completely like does not understand what's going on, does not realize that Tamama just wants his attention, but Tamama is like, I want attention, but I won't ask for it. Instead, I'm going to be sad about it and be jealous, shoot a lot of jealousy balls about it. That's why I like it.
So I want to know how you feel about the actual animation beyond the art style, because the first episode in particular has a lot of like really solid action animation. People are like running around, flying around, and it's limited, but there's like extreme movement between frames. And then I guess it kind of slows down after that, because most shows do. But like, how would do you compliment the animation?
I really liked the animation. Even though it is limited, is the use of just extreme like emotions, like it's very anime. Like it's
like one of the most anime like when you like when someone who really doesn't understand anime closes their eyes and pictures what they think it is, it's like a lot of sonna woo woo woo, like just like stuff happening constantly, genre shifting all the time, like deliberately generic moments, and then like really weird things happening. It's all over the place. The
animation, like, it's very clean. It's a very clean show. Yeah, I give them props to all the cleanness.
I think this is probably one of the first like digitally colored type show, because this came out in the early 2000s when they were first switching over to digital. Yeah, and like just looking at it, I was like, wow, this is like the most early 2000s looking thing ever. It's like they haven't quite discovered gradients, but they're starting to get the colors right, you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes the character art is just really ugly, but they mostly keep it simple. The frogs always look great.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they're frogs.
It's hard to mess up frog design.
Well, you're planning to design some frogs. What should we name the frogs that are going to be on the avatar, or the thumbnail for this video? Mine is going to be Tudidi.
Tudidi?
Tudidi.
Tudidi. Like Tudede?
No, Turi. Tudidi.
Turi. Okay.
Yeah, Tudidi.
It's interesting. Me tutu. That's
Me
mine.
tutu.
Me tutu. I'm me tutu.
I like it. Me too.
Yes.
Do you have any burning things you need to say about Sergeant Frog to the world? As many as you need.
All right. First of all, people need to understand Keroro more. Everyone is like, no, I don't like Keroro. He's not a good character, but he's misunderstood. Dang it. He was blue as a baby. Did you know that? I guess he didn't know that, but he was blue. But he fell into a vat of curry, and that's why he's yellow. But yeah, Keroro just seems to be like a very misunderstood type of person, and I would be very much friends with him. The Gataru platoon needs to be featured more, although I think this anime is already finished, so Lacry.
Although now you get to watch the rest of it
Yay!
since it's all actually online now. So
that's amazing. There was not really like a central place for this last time I checked, which was 2015.
Where did you watch it at?
Just YouTube. There was a couple.
Just on YouTube.
It was just like a random episodes on YouTube that you couldn't find. It was just like sprinkled episodes from like one person to like another person. It wasn't like, oh, season 15, season 16. So I kind of like watched them a lot out of order.
Did you ever like rewatch episodes or just like always move on to a new one? Because you seem to have a really good memory of the show.
I've rewatched the first season, I believe. But the only episode I really rewatched was 158. Because there's the shipping episode, and I was a big shipper back. That was actually being first introduced to Keroro Gunsou was what got me into reading fan fiction that early. When the first fan fiction that I first watched was there was this battle plan one, but where it was a ship fan fiction where everyone's like in a war, and it's the Gataru platoon and the Keroro platoon working together, and it's basically Keroro and Tororo like hook up, you know?
Yeah.
And they hook up a couple of times. And that really scarred me. That was the first smart fan fiction I read was within this series. And I was like, my mind's destroyed. My brain. This was when I was 10.
Did you end up drawing any shipping art of Keroro Gunsou?
Yes. Lots of shipping art. And then it was mostly like either Keroro and Keroro, Keroro and Tororo. But back in 2015, the summer that I was watching a bunch of Keroro Gunsou was the first summer I was like, I want to draw some Keroro Gunsou fan art. I have no paper on me. I'm going to instead download an app on my phone and start drawing some Keroro fan art. So I did. And I was like, yeah, start of digital art right here. And then, same friend who introduced me to Keroro Gunsou was like, hey, use this drawing app, MetaBang, back when it didn't have like a ton of ads on it. And so I was like, I'm going to draw that. And that's the app that I still use to this day. But I have the pro version because there's too many ads on it now.
I'm really curious, when you were drawing that art, like, were you thinking of this as like gay, like romance art, or did you just like even consider that?
I considered it very gay.
Okay, it's like, so now you've got me thinking about like Keroro Gunsou as a way to like subversively draw gay fan art that your parents wouldn't recognize as gay fan art. Like, they're not gonna know those are two boys. Those are just frogs.
No, it's just frogs, circle beings. I don't know. They never found my art sketchbooks of Keroro Gunsou fan art.
Okay, so you kept all that hidden under the radar.
Pretty much.
Amazing. Was there like an internet community for Keroro Gunsou? Like,
there was not that I found. The few that I found are like deviant art communities, so that were
people who are like really into the show doing a lot of art.
They were very inactive though by the time that I found them. And I was like, I want to post more art. I want to look at more art. And there's some art that's still being created. Like on Pixvy, there's some art, but not as much as I want there to be.
What do you want from like a Keroro Gunsou resurrection? Like, if they bring the show back, do like a reboot, cool. What would you want?
First of all, for me to be animating some of it. That's what I want. I feel like I'll do it justice, because those characters are very easy to draw, and it's just like, yeah. I was literally yesterday, like, circles, oval thing, and just like kind of drew it in 30 seconds, like, oh, this looks exactly like the character. Oh, I can do a reboot. But from another reboot, I want more curry. Please give me more instructions on how to make the curry in the show. Just like the middle credits. You remember the middle credits? Like this in-between scenes in like Attack on Titan where it's like showing all the data? I want that for like the recipes in the show.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
Food Wars does that, actually.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I've never seen them.
Any other thoughts on this show you need to share with us?
I want more Tororo.
More Tororo.
More Tororo, please.
You've heard what she wants, folks. Give her more Tororo. Mint Salad, you've been doing daily movie reviews and daily sets of you in sexy outfits, sets of photos on your Fansly, fansly.com/titsmintsalad. Tell me about what got you into that experience.
Well, I'm a big fan of Lena the Plug and Kazumi and Kiwi Sunset, and I was like, hey, they're big inspirations. I want to do some lewd sets. And so I started doing lewd sets. And they're honestly, it's been a fun experience just learning how to be lewd in different ways. And all the different clothes and cosplays that I wear. Super fun. I enjoy doing it.
You often do like themed cosplays based on your movie reviews. So it'll be like Pirates of the Caribbean review, and then here's a pirate costume, and then you go to Fansly, and here's me posing in the pirate costume, and like, yeah, it's a lot of fun. The more wrapped up in it you are, the more you get to understand the full breadth of it.
Yes. A lot of the movie reviews are based on Patreon requests, which are $20, so you can go to my patreon.com/ASCpresents to request a $20 for one review, and I'll review it for you. And it'll go on the public page. That's how I've been doing the movie reviews. It's been pretty fun.
What else do you get from being a patron?
Well, you get extra bonus content like ASC daily footage for $3 a month. Or you get some extended mint salad saws there too. And for $5 a month, you get some extra bonus content like salad dressings where I try on the clothes that I have and just show them off and wear them. It's pretty cool.
I've been in a lot of the ASC Daily lately since I've been around, and it's really fun. Like, everything we do, pretty much, we try to get a little snippet of it, throw it in there, and show you the life of the ASC. Anything else you need to promote? Fansly.com/titsmintsalad, patreon.com/ASCpresents, all of your social links in the Twitter below.
The link tree, linktree.com/titsmintsalad, and yet again, fansly.com/titsmintsalad.
Yeah, the link tree will always take you where you need to go. I've been Trixie the Golden Witch. My links are all down there too. Pay me $5 a month and I'll rant about whatever you want. I do a live stream at the end of each month where I do all the rants in a row. Just DM me your request and I'll let you know if I can do that. Otherwise, I have a Substack, goldenwitch.substack.com, where I do written articles, bonus content. Mint and I are both a part of the hip-hop group Sucker Punch. We release new tracks every single week. So Spotify, YouTube, hear us out. You've been dropping bars. Pow, straight fire. Everything else is down there. Thanks again for watching, and never forget, Keroro Gunsou.
Forever.